Good morning and welcome to Daystar TV. This is the Career Scoop. I am your host, Shekinah Eden Katua. And in this show, we will educate you on some of the things you need to know before choosing your career path. All matters pertaining career. And guys, I can't wait to get into it. But on to today's show, we are going to be talking about the career planning process. Do not forget to map out your future is to map out your career. Find your skills, find everything, your passion before you choose a career. And don't forget about your talent. Anyway, guys, on set, I have two amazing guests with me and I can't wait to show you guys. So let's get to it. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Career Scoop.
It's
such a pleasure to have you here, knowing that you are the first ever guests to be here in the studio.
Wow, what a privilege. Kickstarting the career.
Yes, you're kickstarting our show. It's such a privilege to have you here. Yeah. And before we get into the topic, just introduce yourselves. We can start with you.
I'm the young sucker that will grow after the old banana tree dies. I'm Maxwell Ndege, from Daystar University, majoring in law. I also doubled up as the campus secretary at the River. That is the end of my introduction.
Amazing.
And I'm happy to be here.
Thank you for joining us. So I can see he has enlightened you a little bit.
The comment he mentioned, but thank you very much for having us.
Karibu sana.
Good morning to our dear listeners and viewers, wherever you are. My name is Sosnes Olindo, an alumni of Daystar, class of 2013, a BA Communication, PR and Electronic Media.
Yeah.
Later on did CIM. I'm a CIM affiliate, Chartered Institute of Marketing. I'm a staff at Daystar, Marketing, Communication and Student Recruitment at Admissions. I'm also a master's student in Development Communication, now working on my thesis, almost working on my second alumni status, that's MA Communication. I'm also a member of professional bodies in the area of communication. There is International Communication Association, which is a chapter and the director in Nairobi, and at Daystar, Sister Professor Lando. And a member of also the Communication for Sustainable Development, which brings together development communication students at Daystar here. Yes. And I'm happy to be here.
Thank you for coming. Yeah, you have so many titles. To the extent I'm having anxiety to sit here with a very learned man.
No, it's by grace of God. It's by
the grace of God. We thank God.
Yes.
So to kickstart this, we went outside to the streets. We were doing a little bit of interviews on students, lecturers, asking them questions about their career choices. And I'd like us to look at it. So let's get to it. Okay, can you please tell us your name and what you do?
Yes, my name is Tefe Mugalo. I currently work for Brita under a team called Partnerships and Digital Innovation.
Would you say that actuarial science is a course that you wanted to do in the first place?
Yeah. From high school, when I was in Form 4, I wanted to do actuarial science. I was not influenced by anyone because the passion for calculations and not theory. I hate theory so much. So that's what encouraged me to choose actuarial science as my course.
Who inspired you to do actuarial science?
No one in particular, but I've had stories of people who have done actuarial science, and they're really successful. And you see, many people's lives have been changed through, banking and risk management. So that's why I'm inspired to do actuarial science.
Would you say your parents supported your career choice?
Okay, not really, because at first they never knew actuarial what it was all about until I got to explain it to them, and they were like, "Oh, that's a nice decision that you've made."
So, would you say that this was your personal decision to do the career you're doing right now, or were you influenced by maybe your parents or something, or people in your family?
All of that is true, because I was influenced by my parents, as I have said. I was influenced by other people in the family. I prayed along the way so that I would be at the right place at the right time.
Yes.
And there was also an inner desire and ambition to succeed. And that's what motivated me to get far, or to wherever I got.
Would you say that this is something that you'd want to keep doing even in the future, or do you feel like there's something else that you'd want to do as a course later in future?
I will definitely stick to this path. Again, communication is very wide, but I would like to major in radio, do some shows on radio, do production on TV. So my journey will just revolve around communication.
Amazing. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Have a lovely day.
Welcome back to the Career Scoop. I am your host, Shekinah Eden Katua, and I'm still here with my wonderful guests of tonight, of today. Sorry, Akiki Dogo, I'm thinking about the night. But we have seen the clips about the students and the lecturers that we were talking with. And I'd just like to know your take. What do you think? What do you think makes people change their minds after choosing a certain course line or a certain career line?
It's very interesting. I may start. I don't know if Maxwell has.
It's all right. It's all right.
The button is in you.
Over the years, I've interacted with those who are seeking to start a career. It's always a challenging, not settled cloud based on what you have interacted with, the voices from different, those you interacted with on the streets.
Yeah.
And it's clear that the system we have in Kenya focuses on pass, pass, pass. Once I have my grade, then I now start scouting, what do I do with the grade? It is not pre-informed to me as I'm studying, as I'm choosing the subjects combination, that this is what I want to become, this is what I want to do. For instance, we have people who come in and they want to do, for example, communication. And they are shy, they are introverts, they want to do things alone. There is no teamwork spirit or attitude in them.
Very true.
How will you survive? Or for example, sorry, I'm not against the nursing. We find somebody wants to do a career in nursing, but they cannot do a simple first aid. Somebody wants to do biomedical science, in research and so forth. But when they go into the nitty-gritties of what the program really is about, it becomes difficult for that person to survive. So you find they have now the mentality of shifting from here to there. For example, my case, my uncle wanted me to do accounting.
Wow.
Mathematics and me, it's a parallel highway, superhighway. But I'm a people person.
Yes.
I talk, I interact, I create strategies, I implement them. So public relations, marketing, and so forth was my in thing.
Yeah.
So I followed my passion. Actually, when I was coming to register, they knew I was coming in for BCom. Until they came from graduation, and they realized this gentleman has a different career path.
Wow.
Yes.
That's amazing. What about you, Maxwell? What's your take on that?
I think from the foregoing on the interview, there are certain fundamental bases upon which someone would rely on when choosing a career path. And so this dives deep into the intrinsic personality of a given being. And so we would like to appreciate that Maxwell loves to litigate, and Maxwell loves to be judicial in his articulation. And we'd love to appreciate that you love to market, you love to advertise your products, and we'd love to appreciate that with this and having to know a particular personality that someone possesses, then moving from that, we can actually know that what career is suitable for this particular person and what is not suitable for them, so that we get to understand holistically what someone might pursue and what is really efficient for them. And so that would be my basis or my reasoning when it comes to career path and choosing what fits someone and what someone loves. So personally, I'd say it's best and fundamentally based on the primordial values and personalities that someone possesses. And moving from that, we can deduce what he's best in, what he's not best in, and then we can move with what someone is interested in, having known their personality.
True, you're right. You've spoken about personalities and somebody having passion for a certain career line they want to choose. But don't you think, like, nowadays in this society, in the current society, people tend to focus more on the income that comes with that career without even thinking about the passion or if they have skills based on that career?
I think maybe what Maxwell was mentioning,
Yes.
and maybe what you are responding, if I can help my colleague here.
Sure.
If you chase after the paycheck,
Yeah.
the interests are not there, you'll be struggling to sustain yourself in that position
True.
or in that opportunity. But as he's saying, if you have the interest, if you have the capability, the rest of the other things will come. The opportunities will come because you will be able to see the opportunities that are at your doorstep. But if you are after money or after the paycheck, that opportunity might bypass you just directly at your doorstep. So what Maxwell was mentioning is that, can this be identified at an early stage? Before I think of scouting, yes, I have to pay bills. But you see, if I'm good at what I'm doing, God rewards that talent. If you invest in that, what you are, because if you say, let's say, for example, I want to do accounting, because, or maybe those who work at the bank, they handle money, so they are paid heavy check. So that's the assumption. But what is really on the ground? You may be thinking it's a heavy paycheck, then you get to the ground, you realize you are struggling to be there. Simple tasks to deliver, meet the performance indicators. It's just something.
Yeah.
And then to add on what he has said, I think there is a quote by this navigator who identified the USA, that is the land where the Red Indies settled. And he said, if we want to cross the sea, we have to first have the courage to lose the sight of the shore. And so focusing on money as an means, as an end in itself and not a means to the end, would then be detrimental to us when we are choosing our career path. And so it is said it is written and articulated in what the richest people know and what they desperately want to keep it secret, why they desperately want to keep it secret. And so he says, when we focus on the end and not the means to an end, and we put money as the end, then it means that we are facing an abyss, we are the brink. And so we have to really focus on the journey, and we have to start it and focus on the basis and the whole journey and not the end. Money is the means to an end and not the end in itself. And so focusing on money would be detrimental to our career path. We find ourselves losing the focus and digressing from our paths. And so money and income and heavy paycheck, just like he said, should not be our focal point, and our focal point needs to shift if that is what we are focusing on now.
True. We also saw on the video that a few of them say that their parents have influenced them in choosing a certain career path. And in this society we are in today, and in the African culture, children are supposed to adhere to what their parents are saying without them even having a say to their parents. Mostly in African countries, you don't have a say on what you want to do. So what would you advise to a parent on how they should assist their children to choose a career path?
I think, Shakaina, that's a very good comment, especially with what we've interacted with.
Yeah.
At the moment, the country is grappling with the skills mismatch.
True.
I was forced to do a program by my parents. They maybe wanted to live a certain career dream, they didn't. So they believe that this son or daughter of theirs will need to live the dream by force, by fire.
Yeah.
You see, by the time this person enrolls in an institution of higher learning, they are journeying through and creating networks. So if it was my uncle or my dad, my mom who forced me to enroll for this program, I would try to please them. But upon graduation, you see now, the whole world is before me. Am I prepared, fully prepared, or I am living in the shadows of my mom and my dad said?
True.
That's why we are finding crisis of somebody even to make a decision to utilize an opportunity in terms of their training. Is difficult because they have to consult with my dad, my mom, if it's right for me to take up this opportunity that I need to build my skills.
Yes.
But if it's inbuilt, like what Maxwell was mentioning, that I have passion, I don't need to consult because learning is a continuous process. But if it is chosen for me, then it's a lesson, which has limitation, either 40 minutes, an hour, a year or 2 years, because somebody decided for me. And mark you, these are grown-ups. If you choose for a grown-up, you enslave them. And compliancy is disaster.
True.
Yes.
True.
I don't agree further with what he said. I think I'm in agreement. But then only to add on it is that our parents, they want us to stand before the mirror and reflect their image.
True.
They wanted to live this dream of being a communication student, of being the best journalist the world would ever have. They want us to mirror the life in their perspective. They want us to focus and to magnify the world with the lenses with which they magnify the world. And that cannot happen. They have to understand that every child has his particular personality. And so he might have been the best in communication. He might have been the best maybe in journalism. He might have been the best. But then I want to do law. Give me that liberty to do law.
Yes.
He might have been the best in crafting and skill work. He might have been the most virtuous man. But then, yes, that is your path, and I have mine. You might have had your dreams. Let me live mine. Give me the liberty. Give me the amplitude to do mine. You understand? So they are trying to make us magnify the world with the lenses with which they used to magnify the world.
Yeah.
They have to avert from that way and accept that we have different personality and personality sets.
Actually, it's true. What Maxwell is maybe just to mention that when I decide on behalf of my son or my daughter, I've made them limbo. They will need to live under my shadow.
True.
Even internship, I have to look for them or attachment. That is dangerous. You see, you are making somebody, they are adults, but they cannot survive on their own. But if I realize I need to give liberty, that's why maybe CBC is coming in, competence-based learning, that you allow your son or daughter to explore their talent and their skill, what they are best in. Just support, be a coach, just to guide them. This is what the industry is, but follow your dream and your instincts.
True.
Yeah.
And then I find hitches with our education system. There has been a problem with our education system, the so-called 844. God, I wish God would come down and cure our education system. We need a panacea for this education system.
Yes.
Reason being, we have an education system whereby the teachers teaches us about job employment, job opportunities, and opportunities, and they don't teach us how to create these opportunities. I have a problem with our career systems. We only get to class and we revert back the content that we are being taught. I have a problem with this system whereby we are only taught that after this, what we need to seek are jobs. We are not taught how to create our jobs with our own hands. We are not given the tool with which we can go out and create jobs for our future generation up to the fourth. I have a serious problem with this system.
It is true.
Yes, and if we don't change the system, and if we don't look into the problem and only inventing another system, then this problem will still be there.
True. Mr. Sosnes, what will be your take on that?
As a development communication expert,
Yes.
People are not developed if they are helped, as you are saying. I need to realize my potential as an individual because I have my brains, I have my potential, I have my skills because I'm uniquely wired.
Yes.
So if I don't work on who I am, then I'll struggle to be in the economy. I just alluded to the skills mismatch that the country is grappling with, from the technical to graduates and so forth.
True.
People have papers. Some may have used the shortcut, sorry to say so, because they have been told pass, and even given leakages on how to pass. But when they land on the reality, the ground, what the economy wants, they cannot fulfill, or they cannot give the output that is required. So if I have my potential and I've been living it, that's why things like 4K clubs in high schools to teach people this is how you produce food and so forth. The science and so forth, people go for science congress and put up projects that can now be in the sector.
Yes.
We have now been told you have to pass. And I think that's what the society has put into the young people as they're going through the education system. You put together somebody who has done so well. They have merit grades, and somebody who has done so poor, and yet they have potential to live there. Maybe they were not good academically, but they have skills that can sustain a society. But then they are told they are meant for they cannot accumulate for something because they have no grades. Yes, grades are good, but they should come in line with what a person is seeking to do.
True, very true.
Yes.
And I also feel like in today's world and the 844 system, teachers had a lot of influence to students when choosing their careers. Like when they were filling the forms at which university do you want to go to, which course do you want to do. Do you feel like teachers have an influence in students in that
line?
No, let me go first. That's a good question, Shakaina Maxwell. You see, what we have in schools right now, some teachers were very mean. They will tell you that I want you to go to the university where I went. I want you to do the kind of, like when you're choosing subjects in Form 2.
Yes.
Around Form 2, you will drop some, and there are those who will even punish you because you dropped their subject.
True.
And they were telling you,
Very
yes,
true.
I need you to be like me. You need to be like me. Are you getting? So I cannot leave you under your shadow. I must, as I mentioned, I alluded to. I remember in my way back in primary school, there was one of the mathematics teachers. Maybe I would have grown to be an accountant. But this gentleman will, even if you have done well, you are punished, and then you live in fear. You see this person coming in, you have to live to the expectation. So even if you are feeling that form, you want to please that teacher.
True.
That I want to go to the university where my teacher went. They are role models. They're not your mentor because they have not lived your skill. So if, let's say you are an artisan, you want to go into electrical engineering, you want to go into applied computer science, but somebody has forced dreams on you, that's already crisis. Some of them will force you, pick this program, go to this university. But you have not been told the reality on the ground. If it's computer science, you're told, are you good at physics? They have evaluated my physics. They have evaluated my maths, my computer studies. If you are, let's say you want to go into biomedical science, they have evaluated your sciences. You are strong, you will be able to do research. It is what you like. If you want to do into agroeconomics, you're able to interact, you need to be on the ground, you need to research. But if this is not broken down to me, it's just on the paper.
Yes.
A profession is good as it is while it's on the paper, but when the crisis hits, for example, when our friends were, I want to go into medicine, but then Corona came, COVID. Nobody wanted to be a doctor. Because why? That is an infectious disease, I will die. So when the crisis hits, that's when the true profession comes out. So by the teacher helping me to fill the form, it's just the form on the paper I'm placing the teacher and influence. But when the reality comes, I'm the one to face it. Am I ready to face it?
That is the big question.
question.
That is the biggest question. I think when in our early lives, when the parents were still using pots to cook, they were soon replaced by the aluminum sufurias.
Yeah.
And so the teachers replaced our parents. Our parents are poor at parenting nowadays. And I'd say it is the only generation where I'm seeing the parents failing in parenting. And so the teachers have taken up their roles. Teachers are modeling and carving the career paths of these students. Teachers are the ones that have taken the mantle to make sure that these students become who they aspire to be. But then in their so doing, they do an undoing onto the students. It is the greatest undoing that they do to these students is that they try to carve a path for them. They try to influence them or make them decide on what they particularly want them to. And so they'd say, do computer science because this and this and this and this, do this because you are good at this. No, that is not what we want. Leave the child to self-determine him or herself that this is what I like, this is my personality, and this is what I need to do in line or in respect to my personality. And so they have become the parents, and they are trying to impart in us what the parents were doing. Yes.
Very, very true. And I feel like your point is very valid. But also, if you don't mind me asking, do you think some people might get into high school, maybe I've not come out with good grades, maybe I have failed. And, these teachers have impacted a mentality that if you don't get a good grade, you will not prosper in life. Do you think that affects the kind of career choice somebody chooses?
It all depends on what is your definition of success. It all depends on your connotation of success. Success to me is achieving the little goals that I've set for myself within that particular period of time. Or if not within that particular period of time, before I die, that would be success to me. And then it means that we have different goals. We have different kind of engineering in our systems. We know that his success would be attaining the most paying job. Your success would be working at what is this? What would you like to do? I don't know. My success would be totally different. What I'm trying to explain would be that we have footballers that are really successful. What they had dreamt of doing is playing football from morning to evening till the sun sets, from dawn to sunset. I mean, they are so very successful. They earn rounding up what the teachers are earning. And so that is their determination of success. That is their definition. That is their connotation of what success is.
Yes.
And so my connotation of what success is the goals that I attain. It's not the grades that I have. It's not the A's that I score or the D's that I have, you know.
Yeah.
And so the teachers need to change from this. We need a mental shift. We need transformation. We need a mental alienation from what we perceived success to be. We need to shift from that. The world is changing. We need to transform. We need to transform from our minds, our mindset. We need to know that not getting an A is not being successful.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. Bonasas, what would you add on that?
I think what Maxwell is mentioning is very true to the point that people say that the richest, when you say that what criteria have you used to quantify success? Say the richest place is a graveyard, because so many people have died with a lot of good ideas. They have not been told how to utilize their brain well.
Yes.
So for me, I would say success is when somebody realizes they have used the full potential of why they were created. When you realize this is the reason as to why I was created. But when I have brains, then I have allowed somebody to think on my behalf. In terms of creating, telling me this is what I think it fits you. Have you gone into the engineer of my structure, my anatomy, and you've realized this is what I was cut out for? So allow me to use my brain, my capability to see what is there for me. And if, let's say, for example, they have a skill in either singing or something, or football or debating, then which career can I shape out or training I can add to what I have? Because a profession should be an additional to what you like doing.
Yes.
I should be able to add to my strengths, not my failures, because everybody has weaknesses. Like, for example, if I meet that teacher who used to tell me and off of kind of things, then in primary I didn't do well, I was below average. I like sharing this even on the platforms and the places I've gone to. So then you realize high school, the performance was a little bit different because the environment was so encouraging and motivating for me to realize I need to shape in or shape out. Or there's that kind of quotation that I have to realize I have my brains. I have to work out on my dreams, aspirations.
Yes.
But these have to be tied. What is my capability, my potential? How far can I stretch my brain, my thinking, my creativity, and to live to the full potential of why I was created? Because people have vision. People have goals, aspirations, careers, but they have no clue, they have no goals. They live one day at a time.
Very true, very true.
I'm marveled at what he said. And I was reading this book, Half of a Yellow Sun by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. And in that story, there is this antagonist called Odenibo in that particular book. And he was given a coat that he could not wear. So very big in him when he wears it.
Yes.
And so he has to cut the coat and realign that particular material so that he sews a coat that fits him.
Yes.
We need to tell these teachers and we need to tell our parents that we need to cut the size of the material. So to sew the coat that will fit us. And not the,
Very true.
we are not sewing
Very
the
true.
coats to fit
Yes.
them. We are
Yeah.
sewing the coats to fit
They
us.
say the ready-made coats.
Yes.
That,
Yes. Yes.
Don't give me oversized coats because you want me to be a lawyer. I want to be
Yeah.
a doctor.
Yeah.
you need slim fit.
Yes, I need slim.
Oh my goodness. Oh, yes. That was the discussion. We are talking about the career planning process. What are some of the things you need to consider? What things need to be erased from this society? So we'll catch you after the break. Welcome back to the Career Scoop. I am still your host, Shekinah Eden Katua, and we were discussing about the career planning process. But on this last segment, as we wind up, I'll just be asking you just one final question. What would be your advice to somebody who is from high school, maybe currently in university, and they're trying to find their career, they're trying to find this stable job that I want to do, what will be your advice to them?
Okay, thank you. My parting shot, as Shakaina has mentioned, for you who is scouting for a profession, I talk about profession because career, you was trying to, then profession, you live your dream.
Yes.
Now, get somebody, yes, role models are like the maps, the road maps, but a mentor, not just a mentor. No, there are those who say, so-and-so is my mentor. You find they're in a different profession. The mentor is from a different profession. You need to find somebody who aligns to what you are pursuing.
Yes.
They will tell you, these are the mistakes I did. This is how we overcome such mistakes in the industry or what I'm pursuing. Then I'm able to learn practically from now a human being who has lived their dream and they've made those mistakes. You know, we see somebody driving a Porsche, then you realize you have not asked them what it took them to get to that level. But you want to start driving a Porsche when you have not realized the steps that led to that kind of. You getting what I'm saying?
Yes.
So it will be ideal you map out, surround yourself with a positive environment, realize the Tobias and Sanballat of this generation are the discouragers in that mean. Those who discourage Nehemiah not to rebuild the walls.
Yes.
So you need to realize Sanballat and Tobias are very real. The discouragers will come.
Yes.
You have an idea, want to put out, they say, that has never worked. So-and-so tried, it didn't work. You are not them. Put out your best foot, try out, ask God for wisdom and knowledge so that you're able to live your full potential. Because at one point, when we are in the judgment, not the law, but in judgment,
yes,
we will be able to account. You are given treasures. How did you multiply them?
Yes.
So I want to account for the 100 treasures I'm given, if they are 100, and live to the full potential of why I'm a human being.
Yes.
Yes.
Very true. What about you, Maxwell? How would you advise young people in our age, what they need to consider when choosing a certain career?
My advice, though I don't like giving advices, my advice then would be that as we sprout, as we blossom, as youngings, we allow ourselves to be, if you are a chicken, to scratch. If you are a bird, to make the melodious sounds of chants. If you are an eagle, you soar. And if you want to choose a mentor that aligns to your dream, just like Mr. Sosnes said. And then just make sure that when the curveballs come your way, you have a very strategic way of handling the curveballs, because challenges will be there and challenges are ever so there. So we have to see a way of countering the curveballs when they come our way, and so that we might succeed in our career.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Very true.
Yes.
There you have it, guys. Look for a mentor that you align with in your career path. To map out your future is to map out your career. Choose what you're passionate about. Listen to the people that are elderly and people that you can align to. Somebody who has passion for whatever you have passion for. And you will find the best career for you. So guys, that's a wrap on this show at the CAREERSCOPE. Thank you very much for joining me. It was such a pleasure. I can't wait to have you again and again. Yes. So thank you guys for tuning in. This was the Career Show. I was your girl, Shekinah Eden Katua, and that's it. Let's go.